Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Kickin' Bass TV. Today's video we're going to be discussing the fall to winter transition, show you guys how to break down your body of water to hopefully help save you some time, and also give you guys some bait suggestions for this time of season. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down below and stay tuned. Alright guys, today we're talking about the fall to winter transition. This is going to happen at different times depending on where you live in the country, but generally starts to happen around mid-November to early December for pretty much everybody. And the key factor here, it's all relative to where you live on the map, is going to be your water temperature. And the thing that's happening in this point of the season is you've got a line in the water column known as the thermocline, and essentially what this line does is it separates the deeper water, which generally has colder, more consistent temperatures and a lower oxygen level, from the shallow water, which tends to fluctuate more often because of things like sunlight, precipitation, weather, surface temps, and generally has a higher oxygen level. For that reason, the bass will spend the majority of the season, at least from the March to October, November time, in the higher portion of the water column until those temps start to drop low enough to begin to break down the thermocline, at which point the water will begin to mix and become one uniform temperature. At that point, the bass will begin to move into their winter patterns. Now, if you're fishing a lake without a lot of features, by that I mean it doesn't have big coves or fingers like this one here. Maybe you're fishing a local pond that's just a round body of water with no structure and basically shaped like a bowl. Essentially what those bass are going to do is they're just going to start to pull to the deepest point of that water, and they're going to hold there for the majority of the winter, so it does get easier to catch them once you find them. If you're fishing a lake that looks more like this, has some features to it, such as this northernmost point, which can actually extend underwater quite a ways, that can create a ledge on both sides, which can be a great spot to target bass. Another thing I like to do is set up on a pinch point like this one right here. And this is essentially the only way in or out of this cove. So bass can trap bait fish back here. They can also set up here and guard this sort of like a doorway and just feed on anything that comes in or out. So we're gonna set up on the sandbar that's been exposed here because of the drawback. As you can see from there, we can fish a considerable portion of the lake from one spot. The cove itself is only about 50 feet wide, maybe 150 feet long, with a max depth of 6 to 8 feet, and it actually shallows up quite a bit as you turn to the pinch point here. But before we start fishing, we're going to give you guys a look at the lures we throw the most this time of season. Now, starting off with my top water, I've always got a whopper plopper, some sort of walking bait like this one here, some poppers, some buzz baits. As water temps cool in a week or two from now, it's going to be really hard to beat a suspended jerk bait. Until then, my go-to number one thing I start with are my square bill cranks, and I've got those in a range of 1.5 inches to about 3.5 inch body size, and everywhere from a 1 foot diver to 18 feet divers. Now, I've also got some lipless crankbait options here, as well as a couple of smaller ones in the event that I need to downsize, and the only thing really not pictured here would be my large glide baits. Another favorite of mine is an exposed hook swim jig head with some sort of paddle tail swim bait on there, especially if I'm fishing for smallmouth bass. And when it comes to my jigs, I generally switch to a finesse style this time of year, and I downsize to a 3/16, maybe a 1/4 ounce maximum. And instead of a craw trailer, I switch to a grub. Last but not least, you got the custom Kickin' Bass Dead Ringer swim bait. You put that thing on a screw lock design weighted VMC hook, it's gonna last you all day. You're gonna catch a ton of fish and go through a lot less plastics. All right guys, so to start out, we're gonna be fishing right at that pinch point. We're gonna throw this vintage 78 Big O square bill that we got at the thrift store. All that I did was upgrade the treble hooks on there and the split rings. The front one's got a red Gamakatsu treble hook just to give the fish a little something extra to key in on. It actually helps increase the hookup ratio because if they target that front hook, they hook up a lot better than they do if they bite it from the rear, and essentially they can pop off a lot easier on that rear hook, as we've all seen happen. But at any rate, it's that simple guys. We set up at that pinch point. Sure enough, there were the bass sitting there waiting to hit something. Anything that goes in or out of those pinch points, they're gonna absolutely slam this time of year because they're still aggressively looking to feed up before that cold weather hits and they start slowing down. So sure enough, this guy hit it on second cast. Not a huge bass, but a little bit over a pound, which we'll take right now, especially considering it's been such a tough transition, especially in the Rocky Mountain area. I know a lot of you guys that follow the channel out here locally have contacted me asking for any tips, any help that we had to offer. So So hopefully this video has helped you save some time, know where to look first, and you can get on some bass, enjoy that fall fishing. So if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, because that's the best way to show your support. And as always, love to hear from you guys, so don't hesitate to leave us a comment in the comment section down below. Until next time, guys, I'm D with Kickin' Bass TV.
Subscribe.